today we've got an amazing guest speaker. Her name is Bryony McCormick. She is the founder of Chicks Who Trail, Chicks Who Hike, and also Moms Who Hike. And we are so excited to have you today. I'm just going to hand over to you just to give us a brief introduction.
Hi, thank you so much. I am the founder of those three groups, Chicks Who Trail, Chicks Who Hike, and Moms Who Hike. Chicks Who Trail was the first one. I think it's been going for about 8 years. They're all women-only outdoor communities. I am a mom, a proud single mom. I'm a Salomon community ambassador. I'm a registered counselor, and I work in a media space too. So kind of jack of all trades. But this is definitely and most certainly a passion project for me.
Tell us a bit about sort of how you started Chicks Who Trail, because I think that's the first one you mentioned, and what drives you to keep going in this domain.
I think it. There were two reasons, but I think if I'm being brutally honest, the main reason was like a personal need. I wanted to run, and I wanted to get outdoors and connect with other women who wanted to do the same things in a non-competitive space. And I guess I just never knew the what's the word, like how many women would be wanting to join. I never knew it would grow as much as it has grown, and I never knew it would continue to like draw new people in year on year. I mean, we've been going for about 8 years now, I think in February. And it's not the same group of women for 8 years, every week there are new people coming. It started as something personal, and then it just grew into a community of women craving, I guess, the same sense of belonging and an adventure. And what keeps me doing it? I think witnessing the transformation of women who join, women finding confidence, friendship, freedom on the trails. Every time we join, every time we run or hike, it just kind of reminds me why it matters.
It's lovely. I love that. So what is your opinion on the importance of being in nature? Because obviously that's quite a huge aspect.
It is, and I absolutely am not against things like road running, and I do road running. But if I speak from a registered counselor space, nature really is like a natural regulator, right? Of mood, energy, perspective. There's something profoundly grounding about being in the outdoors. It quiets the noise of daily life. It allows your body and mind to recalibrate. I think being exposed to nature reduces cortisol levels. It boosts serotonin. It helps us restore cognitive focus. It's kind of like therapy, but without being in a room with walls. I think for me, the most important thing about nature is that natural regulator. And then I just also, on a personal level, it's just one of my absolute most happy places.
And why is women's wellness in particular so important to you?
And again, like I speak from experience with a small private practice in the counseling space, having these women's communities, working a lot with new moms to like CEOs of companies, and women specifically, there's a pattern, seem to largely live in like survival mode. And they're constantly giving, they're putting other people ahead of themselves, and often neglecting their own needs, whether those are emotional or physical. It's just like it seems to be a default of women. We put everyone else first. So to me, wellness, specifically women's wellness, isn't just about self-care, it's about self-connection. And I think helping women reclaim the space to breathe, move, feel, rest, and the motivation for it is when women feel well, emotionally and physically and mentally, that strength and that power and that womanhood ripples outward into families and communities and friendships and relationships, and everyone benefits. So I think, I don't know if that answers the question.
Definitely does. No, that makes perfect sense, and I recognize everything you said there. And then, of course, what is your opinion on movement, which is a huge aspect, obviously, of what you do as well? I mean, everything ties in so beautifully.
I know, and it's so weird, like how I started my life and my career so long ago in one space and have kind of picked up things as I've gone and started different groups and communities, but now it's all blending into one thing, which I love. And I'm starting to understand like the one sort of similar thing. But movement in the most simplest form is medicine, I guess. It doesn't have to be a marathon, it doesn't have to be a mountain. It can be walking, stretching, dancing in your kitchen, whatever. But movement helps us process emotion. It helps us move emotion. It helps us release stress. So I think, yeah, it doesn't have to be this big thing. Movement is just a fundamental part of being healthy and balanced and regulated, I think.
And happy, I think, too, because all of that contributes to your mental and physical, what's it called, your, levels of happiness. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, although you say that, I like, as you say, like happiness, I'm like thinking of like these women that run 100-mile trail events. And I'm like, I don't know if there's happiness when you're running 100 miles generally, but dancing in your kitchen, yes.
It might
And
be a
there's
bit
certainly something, especially when, like, if we take it back to trail running, there's something about the serotonin boost after the run, right? And I think that's what a lot of people also get at gym or when working out. And like the workout is hard and you're not necessarily experiencing the happiness, but it's that feeling afterwards
Yes,
that is kind of the dopamine hit, right? And it's such a
absolutely.
healthy dopamine hit. It's so much better than sitting on your phone or watching Netflix, which I don't judge because I do, but yeah,
In balance, yeah. Do you think
balance.
these types of activities have a positive effect on a woman's nervous system, which you briefly touched on?
Yes, short answer. I think the combination of movement and nature combines two of the most effective system regulators. Physical activity regulates your system, as well as like this, which I was touching on earlier, like this, not nature, like environmental grounding. The motion of walking or running helps move stress out, like I said, or shifts emotion, or or trauma even in some cases, while being outdoors activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's your rest and digest. It's your like exhale, your breathe out. It's the opposite of stress basically, or
Yes.
reacting. And I think I don't know a single woman, unless obviously something's like happened and they've fallen or and hurt themselves or scraped a knee or something. I don't know a single woman who has like come off a trail going like, I feel more stressed. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone
Yeah,
just like,
no.
you finish your run, you finish your hike. Even I'm not active with the Moms Who Hike group anymore. A beautiful lady, Catherine, runs that. But like there's like new moms with their little babies. I mean, that's like such a chaotic and crazy time in a woman's life. And to be able to just go for a walk and start the walk, the baby's been screaming in the car, it's madness. And then by the end of the walk, everyone's just like breathing and the baby's sleeping or happy. It's amazing. And I think that's like the baby feels that, right? The baby feels literally the mom's system, like taking a deep
Absolutely.
breath and a big exhale. So yeah, I definitely do think that these activities impact a woman's nervous system positively, in the sense of just the best like virtual way I can think of it is just like a big giant exhale. Mm.
Absolutely. Okay, so since starting these groups, what are some surprising outcomes that you've experienced?
It's so interesting because I went in with no expectations other than wanting women to connect, and through connection like take more risks and be a bit brave and try new things, because I've experienced that in women only communities in male dominated sports. So when you're like a bit intimidated or nervous, or you just you don't want to try something because it's just a lot of guys and like you're going to be too slow or you're going to be a idiot or whatever, having women around you just changes the rules, I guess. And so I wanted to create that. And I think the most surprising outcomes have been probably like the emotional healing that I've seen on the trails. And I know that sounds, yeah, it maybe sounds a little bit weird, like maybe not an expected answer, but we've just had women who have come and joined who have, like overcome anxiety, overcoming breakups, people who are overcoming cancer and other sickness, rediscovering strength after pregnancy, childbirth, injury, divorce. Like there's just, and it's something like if I think of like divorce or pregnancy, rediscovering your physical strength, like will translate to empowerment and mental strength. So it all like ties in together. And I guess,
Absolutely.
yeah, seeing women's vulnerability and hearing their laughter, um, and just seeing women like be a little bit free and wild. It's like it's not something that society necessarily expects of women. So being able to see women a little bit free and wild is like quite a beautiful thing too.
Absolutely. We don't get a lot of opportunity to do that actually at all. So it's an amazing thing that provides an opportunity to do that.
Mm.
Okay, so in your opinion, what's your take on the importance of community, which we've actually spoken about, especially with regards to women?
Um, So like I was just talking about now, when women get together in like a community, I think there's a deep sense of safety and like a shared understanding that allows for authentic connection. Humans are wired for belonging, women are wired for belonging. And I think a supportive community reminds women that they're not alone in their struggles or triumphs. It builds emotional resilience in a world where isolation is becoming like a normal due to like social media and working at home. Like some people just,
Yeah,
if you work at home and you sit on social media all day and you don't do any sports or activities, like you very isolated. So community combats that, right? It offers like a space for people to gather and talk and connect. And I think that the like I was trying to say earlier, the biggest thing for me is like the safety. And I'm not necessarily talking about like crime. It's just that safety that you feel when you're around other like-minded women. It's very empowering, and allows you to just test out things that you maybe wouldn't have done in a space where you would
yeah.
feel intimidated or unsafe. So yeah, importance of
Definitely
community
that.
and a sense of belonging.
And
I have
definitely
a lot
see.
of women say that they've found their tribe, which is that exact thing, like a sense of belonging. And, it's
Yeah.
not for everyone, but, like you wouldn't find me playing paddle or doing something. Like everyone's got a community, and I'm just so grateful that this provides that for the women that connect with it or relate.
Yes, yes. Okay, so now for women
Hmm.
that haven't mastered any technical skills yet, for instance, like me, if I to start, like it all sounds amazing, I love everything you've said, but I know that I am a Pilates girl. I'm a little bit scared. Where do I start? So someone like me, like where would I, but I love nature and I always like want to try something out at least once to see whether. So yeah, where does one start? What do you do? Do you just maybe start on like a walk?
Absolutely. And we are so fortunate. Okay, well, I'm sitting in the Western Cape. I imagine, yeah. So we're so fortunate here with so many options, whether it's a beach walk, a green belt walk, or a mountain walk. And there are hotspots and unsafe areas, but there are loads of safe areas too, where there are just so many people outdoors enjoying nature and movement. So if you're brand new to running, like you've never run,
Yeah,
probably I would probably send you to a park run. A park run is a great 5K. It's like a cross
I've done
country.
that.
Usually, exactly. So right, if you can get through a park run,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
do a couple of those. Find a person to do it with, because
Yes,
anything is more fun with a friend.
yes,
But if
definitely.
you're on your
Yeah,
own, it's like scary. So
yeah,
definitely find a friend. And if you don't have any friends who are willing to try it, then join Chicks Who Trail.
yeah,
We have like a Thursday community run, which has different pace groups for different speeds of runner, I guess. And we've just finished a series of it was 4 months long, but it was 4 workshops for absolute rookie runners, so absolute
yeah.
beginners,
Divine.
where we teach everything that like everything I could think of that I needed to know when I started. We split it over four, so downhill, uphill, technical, strength training, nutrition, gear. Like we throw it all in there. And so
Mm.
like women have come through that whole series, and then having all that information and experience, because we do like group runs and we have professionals teaching things, just gives them that like knowledge. And I think knowledge is power, right? That confidence to step onto the trail with a bit more confidence. But
Yes.
for you, start with a walk. When you're walking, run a bit, a few minutes running, few minutes walking. Try and like get running longer than walking, and eventually try and get yourself around like a 5K running.
Amazing. I love the fact that
Mm,
you've put this all into workshops because I'm the kind of person that loves information. Give me
mm-hmm.
all the skills, the tools, the equipment, and you said even nutrition. I mean,
But it's
that's
not
amazing.
just you. Women find strength in information.
Yes,
It's like
definitely.
often, like whenever I talk to brands about coming on board with the workshops, like I say, like women are sponges. Like they
Yeah,
just want to learn. So it's, yeah. And I'm that person. If I don't understand something, I become stressed and flustered. But if you
yes, I
explain it
need
to
to
me,
know.
I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. I've got the stuff. Like I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
also become even more like that. Like I became even more so after I had my child. Like I was even more sponge-like. I had to be. I think
And
you've got to be.
yeah, so there was a lot of information shared at the beginners, the rookie workshops, but I think it was fun. It was really good. We'll do it
Yeah.
again next year.
No, it sounds incredible. So I can imagine that all of this requires quite a lot of dedication and experience. How do the challenging parts encourage not only the physical but the mental fitness too? Because I can imagine that if you're doing quite a, you've got to work things out in your head, and also it teaches you to kind of commit to something and like come out on the other side. Maybe if there's something scary, you've got to jump across a stream or whatever. Something that might be a bit, and that kind of doesn't only focus on the physical, it's emotional, mental. Yeah.
And I think we are privileged enough that we choose to do these hard things, right? So I think the hardest thing I've done is a 100-kilometer trail run. And I say trail run loosely. I hiked most of it because it was very hard. But I have the privilege that I'm choosing to put myself through this physically really demanding thing, which at some point becomes a mental challenge too.
Yeah.
And just increasing my mental resilience, so my personal mental resilience, and proving to myself what I'm able to do literally. That translates when other challenges and stresses crop up. So I think, and I love Glennon Doyle's podcast, You Can Do Hard Things. I think it's that, or I Can Do Hard Things. But I think that mindset and it doesn't, like, my first trail run was a 5K. And I've worked over years to get to 100Ks. Whether it's a distance, that's the challenge. Having a wee in nature, some women like that is like, that's their challenge.
Start it.
For some women, it's taking their shirt off and running in a crop top and accepting their bodies, like
Yes.
whatever that challenge is for you. I think being able to do it literally and physically in the sport, it just sets you up for everything else that you're facing in
Yes.
your life. Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see that. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, in your opinion, how important are safe spaces for women? And you did touch on this already.
So it's a non-negotiable, and just this week, actually, I parked in front of someone's driveway, and obviously I was in the wrong, but I was sitting in my car, moving my car, and two men got really up in my face and shouted at me and called me terrible names. And like to the extent that I walked back to the office with like spittle on my face. And I was like, the whole time I was like, I'm in the wrong. I'm sorry, whatever. But I just sat in the office and I thought, I don't think they would have spoken to me if I was a man, like in
Yeah.
that way. And it just sucks. And I was just so irritated at like just the world. Anyway, so safe spaces are non-negotiable because when women
Yes.
feel safe, they show up authentically. I've said that already. They
Yeah.
share, they take risks, and there's none of that rubbish that we have to deal with
That's
because that
amazing.
just I know, right? And yeah, I
So
think
then
that
parking,
it is,
because
and I think
obviously, yeah.
I had to like in that moment, and that's why I'm so irritated because in the moment that those men were like shouting at me and calling me names, I became so small and like I shrunk into this and then like I got back to my office and I was so frustrated and I'm like, why do we do that? So safe spaces in the sense where it's either men supporting women or women supporting women. And then on the literal side as well, just in South Africa in general, running in a group and having a safe space
Yes.
from potential crime and those kinds of threats is also really,
Yeah.
really important.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's just something we have to do. There are a few places that you can run alone and feel safe, but for the most part, we need to create these safe groups so that women can actually trail run.
Right. Okay, perfect. So, last question. What are the three things that you wish South African women knew when it came to attaining health and wellness?
So and I don't even know if this is a South African thing, it's just a general thing. And it's something I've learned through my counseling journey is that wellness, physical and mental and emotional, shouldn't be a luxury. Like it shouldn't be an afterthought. It
Yes.
should be a necessity. And I don't think it's prioritized or talked about enough. I think everyone talks about chasing happiness and finding happiness. I think finding peace and balance, and finding ways to restore are really critical. So not a luxury, it's a necessity. Things I wish South African women knew about health. and wellness. Oh, it doesn't have to be a solo journey, I think. And the theme of community, I think that I've also come to learn through personal experience and working with people that connection can be a part of healing. You don't have to like heal or grow on your own. And then the third thing I thought of is that progress in health and wellness, whatever that you're choosing to do, doesn't have to be linear. Like it's not,
Oh,
you're
yes.
not going to like just, so just, like so many people jump on board like a journey, whatever that is, and they expect like to just do that, so being able to just accept that it's like a lifelong evolving commitment with ebbs and flows, and it's going to
Oh,
look
yes.
different, right, for everyone. I think, what did I read? It was something like so profound, something about like, oh no, I can't remember. If I remember though, I'm like, it's literally going to message you. But it was something about focus on curiosity, not comparison, something like that, when it comes to
That's
like
lovely, though.
progress. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think we live in this world now where it's so easy to compare to other people, right?
Oh,
I mean,
terrible. It
I'll
is
probably
still
go on
is.
Instagram after
No,
this and
it
compare
still is.
myself to people. So, and you have a kid, you mentioned you had a child. That is one of the biggest blessings of having a child, is being able to see the world curiously again, because
No,
children are just so naive
absolutely.
and innocent, and not compare, because a child
No.
just is like in their own little world. So learning from children could be a good thing here.
Yeah,
Curiosity, not
absolutely.
comparison.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge thing. Like you said, social media is just the pits, in my opinion.
I know.
I mean, if we didn't need it for business, I would literally not be in it at all.
I know.
It is so dangerous, in my small opinion.
But
Okay,
I
perfect.
think it's dangerous, but and I'm not saying like we're changing the world with this chat, but there are good things and you
There
can
are
learn.
some,
You
but
just
the
have to,
algorithm is so
yeah,
what
algorithm
is
is
it?
out of control.
Yeah, and I mean, there've even been all these research data things coming out, and it's so, if you're going through a tight spot, very, difficult mental stage, and you are exposed to these kinds of things, and then your algorithm immediately feeds off that and picks up and starts. To me, the irresponsibility of the way that it's set up is just so huge. And when you are going through something, it's difficult for you to pull back or to, you get sucked in and you don't even realize you're being sucked into this, and it might not necessarily be your fault. It's just terrible.
And I see that, with teens in my practice,
Exactly.
where I mean,
It's
the
so
worst
sad.
thing you could expect as a result has happened, and I've worked with people who are dealing with that, and it's exactly what you said, the
Yeah,
recklessness and irresponsibility of the algorithm that has guided teens down a path.
down this path. And the thing is, like, if you're
Mm,
going to create a platform, there should be some accountability because they have the information, they know it, and yet
mm,
nothing is done. And that to me is just so upsetting. It infuriates. But anyway, that's a whole other chat.
yes,
But I wanted to ask you about any upcoming events, any workshops, any collabs now that we're in beautiful summer and people can go
I know.
outside. Are there any
We
exciting
are
things?
in summer, but we are also winding down for the year. So
Yes.
we've just finished our beginner series, which is looking at a calendar,
Mm.
August, September, October, November. So we've just done that. I think we're launching a little campaign, but it's kind of finished. We're just going to be showing it on our pages
Yes.
now in November and December. But other than that, we've just got our Thursday runs. And then because Chixie Trail is volunteer led, we take a nice big chunk of holiday from like mid December to mid Jan. And then we'll kick off next year. And yeah, there's a lot in the pipeline, but we haven't put anything down. So next year, there'll definitely be a beginner workshop. There'll definitely be our
Perfect.
Thursday runs. But what expands from that, we'll share on our social media, and a new look and feel for the brand, which is also really exciting.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. The contact details. What is the quickest, easiest way? The Instagram.
Probably, yeah. We have a
Yeah.
website, there's an email address, there's Instagram, and there is Facebook. So, but Instagram is probably our You'll probably get the quickest answer.
Okay, perfect.
And we
Thank you.
do have a WhatsApp group where we share information for weekly runs.
Is that on the website as well?
I think it's on Instagram, maybe on the website. I think the link is on the website, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's on
I
the
should have
website. I
probably,
don't
I should
remember
probably
seeing
know
it.
these things.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been amazing.
Such a pleasure. Thanks for the chat.